Thank you for your sacrifice. Exactly. But I was watching it. I watched the first minute and I was like, I need to do a full react. Thank you for my sacrifice. Y'all know. And I want to show you this. I don't know if y'all can see. This is his face. We're full on reacting to this content. Full on. And what's crazy, this video, if you scroll down, it has 4,000 likes, 400,000 views, and already 63,000 subscribers. Why are we subscribing to this man in the year 2025? I'm sorry. Was something said in this podcast that makes you a fan of him all of a sudden? So let's recap. For those of you who don't know, this is Ned Fulmer, one of the 4 original Try Guys that BuzzFeed created in order to get people to enjoy BuzzFeed content, okay? So what ended up happening is they grew to fame in 2015, 2016 BuzzFeed era. There was a couple of really known female co-producers as well, but the Try Guys were a name. And what they did is when they left BuzzFeed, they were able to copyright and keep the name and create a production company called the Try Guys. 2022 hits. This is where everybody better be hate watching. Bro, that's what I'm saying. 414,000 people. Justice for Ariel. Sorry, my views are already showing. My views already showing. I gotta chill. But realistically, this is what we're talking about here. In 2022, in the year 2022, I cannot believe this was already 3 years ago. I feel like it was just yesterday. But in the year 2022, Ned Fulmer was seen multiple locations by fans who were posting online that he was out with someone who was not his wife. The big one being the concert. The big one being a concert. He went to a concert, and I'm almost positive it was the Taylor Swift concert that he went without his wife to. Crazy work, by the way. Crazy work, by the way, if it was. And then also, after that report was cut out, the second report came out that he was caught kissing his coworker, co-producer Alex at a bar. And there were videos. There was video evidence. So the big issue here at hand is, number 1, adultery against the most beautiful person that I've ever seen in my entire life, Ariel, who honestly is incredible. I loved her. She had a podcast with Becky called The Try Wives too. And the big issue at hand was that he was the wife's guy. His entire brand was sharing that he had a wife. Pre-2022, we were all under the impression that he just loved his wife. The millennials, we got suckered into it, okay? Us millennials, and even, I want to even dare say some boomers, okay? I dare say some boomers and some Gen X a little bit too. We got caught into the trap that is what he was selling. His brand was his being a wife guy, right? Each Try Guy had to have a brand. That was his brand. He sold his wife. We all fell in love with his wife, realistically, right? But in 2022, when this scandal came up, it broke wide open. Number 1, his entire image was 100% for the internet. The saying of you like posting the best parts of your life is really true with Ned Fulmer, is what we've found out, all right? I mean, just look at the guy. Look at this face. Look at his reaction. This is 0.00. This is the first thing that this man wants us to see in a video in the year 2025. And this was his reaction even back then in 2022. So we're already seeing that this blew out of proportion. Number 1, yes, he cheated on his wife, Ariel. There was public documented evidence of this. I hate that this happened for her. I hate that this entire scandal was put into the spotlight for her, not just because of her, but because of her kids. It is unfair for me to start this entire stream and video without acknowledging the fact that it was blown out of proportion, way too much out of proportion, and could definitely hurt the kids. These kids are going to grow up with Ned Fulmer as their dad, and when they look him up, one of the first things that they're going to see is this scandal. Absolutely heartbreaking. I really, 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 really hope that they both have a plan for what's going to happen when their children are on the internet. All right. But number 2, which is the big one, he broke his professional boundaries with a coworker. Not only did he break his professional boundaries with a coworker, there was a power imbalance. He was her boss. And regardless of her actions and breaking up her engagement, that's not what I'm speaking on today. There is a little bit of a parasocial aspect to what I'm going to be talking about today. So please keep in mind that we and he thought that it was owed to us. It was owed to us, this information. So when he came up with a statement back then, Ariel also did, and then everything went dark. And for 3 years, the Try Guys moved on. They added more people to the team, and they became a very successful production company that still posts today. Still not as popular as their claim to fame was at the beginning. The scandal definitely struck a chord in their fan base, and as well as with them, obviously with Eugene stepping away from most of the contacts. Eugene, absolutely incredible creator. Have loved him from the start. He's my favorite Try Guy. It's not just simply because he's living his true authentic self, but also just the creative energy that man has is absolutely incredible. But you know that he stepped away from most Try Guys things, and now it is mostly run by the last two. I still watch a lot of their content, actually, which is crazy to think about. But realistically, that's where we were up until today when I saw the entire world reacting to this podcast, rightfully called Rock Bottom. And the entire purpose of this podcast series, which I think is absolutely bananas that he's doing an entire series, is called Interviewing People Who Have Hit Rock Bottom. And instead of starting with himself, he interviews his wife, Ariel. We have a lot to unpack here because number one, you convinced this woman who you cheated on to join you on this podcast for 1 hour and 8 minutes. Number two, wife. It says a conversation with Ariel Fulmer. Let me look at it. It says, here. Oh my God, wait. Let me read the description for you. The aftermath of infidelity, a conversation with Ariel Fulmer. Everyone makes mistakes. There's no way that's your description. Some of us, really big ones. But what comes next? Rock Bottom is a show that explores people's lowest, most embarrassing and challenging moments, featuring raw, unfiltered conversations with comedians, creators, authors, and celebrities. We talk about how they not only survived, but also transformed their lives. Hosted by Ned Fulmer, the ex-BuzzFeed Try Guys co-creator, whose own Rock Bottom ranked number 6 of Time's most viral moments of 2022. This man is selling himself out. There are 6,000. Okay, we're going to look at the comments at the end. Because low key, everybody is eating him up. Everyone is eating him up. Okay, we're going to start. The fact that this is also just like a clean white slate is killing me. The money was going dry. I honestly think that's what it is, because why on earth is he coming back? I think what's more concerning to me is this part right here, featuring comedians, creators, authors, and celebrities. He convinced other people to do this. So not only did he film with his ex-wife who he cheated on, he has convinced other people to join him on this podcast. How many of them are people that are chasing clout, looking, itching, clinging on to have an opportunity to be online again and to share their story, and he is going to platform them? That's bananas to me. He probably didn't convince, gave them a lot of money. I wonder too, there's obviously a lot of things that we as fans aren't entitled to know about the dissolution of him from the Try Guys as a co-creator. But I do wonder if that money was not invested and he spent it, and now 3 years later, he's looking for a career. I mean, another issue that I do want to point up, and this is not me playing devil's advocate by any stretch of the imagination, his entire skill set is on video creation. He spent so much of his life creating a business, learning how to do a camera, editing, clarity. He helped create the Try Guys for almost 10 years. And he went to school for this, right? Oh my God, I forgot. Was it him who always talked about going to Yale? Is that just me? He talked about going to one of the most prestigious universities. I remember, and It's making me sick thinking about it. But realistically, like, his entire skill set is in video content creation. And now I know a couple of previous creators have gone on, like Hunter, to just edit for big content creators, and that he could have gone that avenue, but he would have had to find people that would want to work with him. And so I wonder if this is his fail-safe of saying, okay, I edited, I was a father, I tried other avenues, it's time to go back to content creation. And I wonder if he's going to talk about it here in Rock Bottom, or if he's not. We'll see. But from what I remember and what I gather, the Try Guys, including him, at the point of the dissolution of the Try Guys in 2022 and what we knew it to be, he was very
3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer.
He just starts off like that? Well, I guess like the whole idea is having a good hook. I'm listening on a walk, so this is great. Get that hot girl walk in. 10 out of 10, agree. Everybody else in chat, get that hot girl walk in. I actually just came from the gym and came straight to my PC because I was like, I need to get this out off my chest. So totally agree with you. Also, everyone in the chat, this is your daily reminder to drink some water to keep you healthy, safe, and strong. Big cheers, big cheers. Let's keep watching.
It became a massive public scandal that caused a lot of pain to a lot of people. I know that I represented myself as a kind of wife guy who talked about his relationship and put that out there for public consumption.
You absolutely
and
did.
You, as a viewer, I know that I broke your trust.
What about Ariel? What do you mean you broke our trust?
I betrayed my spouse.
There it is. Why are the fans
friends, family?
I'm coming into it.
And I betrayed you. And I know it's not just about cheating, that I was a company owner and having a relationship with a producer, was engaged and friends with all of our friends and coworkers. It was understandably a messy and devastating situation for everyone involved.
I just want to point out, this does not look like the backdrop of the house that they always used to show when he was on the Try Guys. The fact that I know that is parasocial as crap, but number two, this is very scripted, and the fact that he's taking so many pauses is terrifying. So what I'm going to do preemptively,
and
if I can find it, I'm gonna change the playback speed to 1.5 because this man is doing the millennial pause and it's killing me. It's killing me.
I was the cause of it.
Yeah, you were.
I did that. And I can't change it. I can't change the past. I can own it and accept it and try to change how I show up differently in the future. So I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I hurt you, and I hope to make amends over time. And one step is to publicly witness the pain of my partner, Ariel. This is a conversation with Ariel in this video. It's painful at times. It's honest, vulnerable, brutal. But it's necessary for her to move forward, and I'm grateful for the chance to witness it.
Hold on. He's trying to be dramatic, like, girl, please. Can we also, okay, before I even talk about the drama that this man is exuding, I thought I was dramatic. This man is very dramatic. He's doing this, he said, for her. Am I right in that? He said for her. So he's not doing this because he wants to, even though it's his podcast? Also, is she getting money from this? Like, all the money and proceeds, are they splitting it 50-50? Like, I have so many questions.
Yeah. As disappointed as we were that something so private and painful became such a public spectacle, I get why people were so outraged, and I understand that is the reason that she can't move forward with any sort of public thing without addressing this. So this is that. This is a conversation where we answer your questions. We share what we've been up to these last 3 years and what you can expect from us moving forward. It's about an hour long. And I know that from my perspective, I want to tell stories of curiosity and empathy. And I want them to be meaningful and have value in people's lives. So I hope that you find this impactful.
You think this is going to have value in people's lives?
Please join me for this conversation with Ariel Fulmer.
Oh my God, the music. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry, I wasn't ready for that transition. Oh my gosh. The ick is definitely icking. Okay. For starters, you can tell very clearly that she wants to also get back into the public space, and she feels as though she can't until she addresses this with Ned. So there was originally a part of me that thought that he was monetizing off of his adultery with Ariel. And honestly, he said sorry, but it doesn't feel as though it doesn't feel authentic and real because number one, obviously he's probably done that to Ariel in real time. All right. But I think what I'm really struggling with here is this doesn't sound like something he wants to do. He is making it seem as though all of the responsibility and onus of this conversation needing to be happening is on Ariel when it's his podcast. I feel like the entire point of a podcast should be your purpose and vision. And by stating it the way that he stated it, it's almost as if she is unwilling to move on until we address this together publicly, when it should be, I am taking ownership of the choices and decisions that I made in my life. And I am going to ask her to be on my podcast so that we can discuss this and move on together as a society. That's not what's happening here. This sounds very forced. Granted, I love Ariel. I'm really curious as to what she's going to say. The fact that she's in a room with him, I think is absolutely traumatic. Oh my God, thank God somebody's saying it, because genuinely speaking, I feel very strongly about him being very calculating in what he did. She looks stunning.
Feels weird. Feels a little awkward.
You can see both of them.
Yeah.
Feels a little
back
awkward.
in a podcasting room.
Yeah.
I mean, we've certainly had a lot of conversations where we've sat like this.
Yeah, that's true.
But not, conversations that are meant for the public.
Mm-hmm. Is it strange to think that people are watching this and listening to it rather than just being in like a therapy setting?
Oh, heck yeah. It's
therapy setting. Okay, so they are confirming that they've both gone to therapy. I'm so surprised that they're both in a room together and that she has the strength to be there. The strength and the courage to be there, and that he...
It's terrifying.
Let's say my thoughts.
It's absolutely... Yeah, I mean, I'm on the verge of standing up and walking out of this room. Absolutely.
Oh!
Same.
You should.
I'm like, what?
What do you mean same? Face your actions.
What am I doing? But no, I feel like this is a necessary thing.
Yeah, we've kind of been just keeping our lives very private for the last 3 years.
We have.
And just almost hiding from the world.
We've been hiding. We've been hiding from the world. And I'm not going to lie, it's been kind of great.
Mm.
Is there audio feedback on this video? Is that just me? They've talked about how they haven't done this in a very long time, but this audio is something else. Oh my God, I have the same mic as them guys. That's crazy.
It's been kind of great to be super private.
And it's ironic because we don't stop becoming recognizable figures. People still come up to us, people still recognize us. And to the extent that we're kind of moving forward in our lives, that's something that you've talked about, is how can I move forward in my life without people knowing the next part of my story if they're still stuck on the 2022 part of my story?
That's kind of the thing, isn't it?
Still stuck on the 2022 part of your story. You just talked endlessly about how you've had to stay private, how you felt like you couldn't. Oh my gosh. Sorry, this is crazy. We're gonna let them keep talking.
And that's the whole reason that we're here, because we're stuck in 2022.
Yeah, at least as far as they know.
Exactly. We have moved on with our lives.
Yeah, we've moved on for a while.
We have moved on with our lives.
Okay, that's good. I'm so glad.
But as far as everybody else is concerned, we're still stuck in 2022.
Yeah.
And
because you guys have chosen to stay private.
That brings us to the whole reason that we're here, and the reason that we can't walk out of this room, because we live in a social world, right? And we can't move on with our lives if we don't, move on publicly.
Mm-hmm. publicly reestablish the context of who we are, how we relate to each other after being so public with our relationship before.
Yeah.
How we relate
I mean,
to
It's a
each
really
other.
strange thing, actually, like that we can't do anything publicly without kind of addressing this first.
Well, yeah. I mean, in 2022, it got so big, right?
It did get
The whole scandal,
It
it
did
just
get bigger than
it
themselves.
grew
I hope
and
she's
grew
getting
and grew
money.
and grew.
She better be getting paid hands
to the point where
for
it
this.
just became this thing that just like got so much bigger than us.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just sort of hid away from it, you know?
Same.
And going completely dark was the only thing that I could think to do. And for the last 3 years, I've just hidden behind the scandal, you know? And now, like, now I can't get out from behind it.
Yeah, because it's a big step
Oh my
to
God, her
like
teeth
sit
are
down and do
beautiful.
what we're doing and to talk about it.
Right. But even like going out in public
He's trying to
with
fill the
like
blanks
my kids
for
or
her.
just going out to dinner or
Over
something like that,
Yeah.
I feel like the only thing that people see is the scandal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
That's
A lot of her accomplishments of what her, or I hate to even say it, Ned, have been completely overshadowed by this cheating and adultery scandal. It almost like eliminates and wipes the achievements that she's had, not just being a mother, but like being online herself, having her own degree, having her own business. Like a lot of that is completely overshadowed now by his decision, and I hate that for her. I will say she looks stunning. I do like what they're bringing up here about the parasocial nature of everything, because I can completely agree that I'm stuck in 2022, and a lot of people don't believe that Ned Fulmer even deserves a platform. And hearing him say that he wants to come back publicly, it's hard, because are you willing to own up to what you did and the cheating that you did? Are you willing to face that? I mean, this is his attempt at it, and he's currently doing a piss poor job, but at the same time, it's like there really is no blueprint on how to come back from this, because in the past, cancel culture has just canceled them. So I'm curious to see her reaction to this and see what she's been up to.
it's a big loss.
It's a big loss, but it's a really strange way to go about your normal life. You know, like I am a human who has needs. Like I want to have regular friends, and I don't want to like
that's so
walk up to somebody
sad.
that I want to be friends with at like preschool and have to start every conversation with like, my personal life is a dumpster fire, as I'm sure you know, but also, do you want to be friends with me? You know, like, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, that has got to be awkward, because you're there literally. Oh, that's a better frame. That is actually sad, because she does have kids and she does have to go out in public and do things for the benefit of her children. And to be in those types of environments, and people do know who you are, people will look you up, right? And then for people to try to get past that, or not seek pity in the friendship, to say, hey, you got cheated on, I'm so sorry, let me get you dinner. Like,
I
can't
have
even
some
imagine.
really authentic friendships that have started that way. But
okay, I'm glad.
like, I don't want to go about my life starting friendships like that.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of want the new friends to know the context of like who you currently are. As a
Yes,
person.
exactly.
I remember I have met some people, like made new friends or kind of introduced myself to strangers. It's like, oh, let's like exchange Instagrams. I'm like, well,
Right?
here's mine, but couple of caveats. One, I have a lot more followers than you might expect. Two, all of this is pretty outdated. And three, don't Google me.
Don't Google me. You
Just
probably don't want to
get to
Google
know me
me.
first. Yeah.
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
you really,
Honey, you don't want people knowing about your scandal? You don't want people to know about the decision that you made in 2022 that ruined your marriage? Then why did you make it in the first place, huh? Sorry, my fault. See, that's why I go back to the calculating thing, right? Like, even that statement right there is extremely calculated. Absolutely calculated. Okay, we're going to put it up to 1.75 because this is not fast enough for me. We need to get a move on.
you don't want to be just sort of seen as the sum of your mistakes for me, or the sum of your past for you.
Right.
And the challenging thing is it's been complicated for a while. I mean, we are still friends. We have children together.
Friends?
We go on trips together.
Right.
Like, you know, there's a spectrum of being together, not together.
Right.
Like there's ways in which we're together.
They're gonna
but it's
address
like
if they're
the
together
way
or
that
not?
everyone wants to know.
I'm
Like, are you guys
sad.
still like an item?
Hold on, I'm
you guys still
sad.
a couple? Like, no. We really haven't been at all this last 3 years.
No, we haven't.
Like, there's moments when we kind of tried, but just because you go to a Taylor
She
Swift
gave him a
concert doesn't mean that you're-
chance?
you know,
There's no way.
that's all is
together.
forgiven here.
No, like people ask me, like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no, absolutely
Yes,
not.
girl!
How can you forgive somebody for
Wait.
lying to you, for cheating on you? No, fuck no. Like I don't even. It's I sorry, I saw red for a minute. It's like, no, the answer is no. But also I feel like forgiveness isn't the goal at this point. You know, we've been together for a long time, and you are the father of my 2 beautiful children, and we know each other really well, and I you know, we've worked through a lot of stuff, and the fact that I can be around you and still like have a good time and like enjoy spending time with you and enjoy spending time with my kids, like I think that's a win.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack in that sentence. Number one, thank God she saw red. We saw her, not her true colors, but her true feelings toward Ned Fulmer. To be able to sit there and look the man in the face and say, I don't forgive you. Wow. I feel like also our culture talks a lot about forgiving people to forget the situation, but I also think she's choosing not to forgive because she doesn't want to forget. I think she wants to remember. She clearly, like, they've been together for such a long time. And she's right. She does know him. She does know him. Obviously, didn't know that he would cheat on her. But, like, realistically, she's not making the same mistake again. However, I was very surprised that they did try. They did try, because I still recall in 2022 when the whole thing happened. Yes, that she had said that she was going to stick with her husband, which caused a lot of alarm bells for a lot of people. But I also know that there were some celebrities sliding into her DMs, which was also a wild era to be a part of.
Yeah.
But the fact that she just called him nice and things, I'm like, clearly, I have to remember, as petty as I would be, she has children with this man. And she literally said it herself. They're beautiful children. She has children with this man. Like, there does need to be some sort of, not maturity, but forced conversations in order to benefit the children. Like, you're putting the children first. I can definitely see that that's at the forefront of her mind. But I'm so happy. Sorry, as you could see when I was reacting to, I'm so happy she said to his face, I don't forgive you. I really think that was, I think that was big. I think that was big. But the fact that she can say that, still be in a room with him, and still hang out with him, I think is what shocks me the most. I think that's what shocks me the most.
It's taken a lot of hard work to do that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, as we've adjusted, we've recalibrated our relationship more towards a platonic friendship.
It's been 3 years.
Then, you know, it's just been challenging.
Yeah, for
but,
you.
I think we're getting to a point of sort of celebrating that and really like embracing it and accepting it for what it is, as we are like grieving the past. And, you know, it's hard to hear you saying like, fuck no, I don't forgive you. But like, of course I get it. I mean, you're still, as much progress as we've had, you're still very angry.
Yeah, of course I'm angry.
You're still very angry? Of course she is.
We're talking about...
Of course it makes you sad. This is your decision that you made. You chose to do this.
Having sat in this position for 3 years, you know, and like, yeah, of course I'm still angry. We lost a lot.
She lost her livelihood. She lost her
3 years ago.
And I'm sure there's more that we don't even know about too. Like, that's the other piece of this whole puzzle.
I found out about your affair from the fans. I mean,
what?
And I was so blindsided that somebody sent me a picture, and I
forgot that was part of the narrative.
It was like my brain couldn't compute, and I
take your time, girl.
It's like for some reason I didn't see what was actually there in the picture. I thought it was your sister, and I remember sending it to you and being like, "What's your sister doing in New York?" It was. I think back on that and I think like,
no, sorry. Oh my God. I want to crawl underneath this blanket right now. What do you mean that you thought it was your sister? Some fan thought she was doing you a service by telling you, girl, go get your man. He's out with some woman at a club in New York, and you sent it to him thinking it's his sister? Honey, no. We should not know about this. I feel this is very parasocial. Like, I understand you want to clear the narrative here. I really do understand you want to clear the narrative, but why? What
was I like? How did I not see what was going on? Like, what? what was so fucked up in my brain that I couldn't actually see what was happening in this
It
picture?
wasn't fucked up
Like the picture
because
was
you
right there in front
trusted
of me.
your man.
You know? And then
You trusted
the
your
pieces
man.
just started falling and falling and falling, and like and then more pictures started coming in, and more pictures and more pictures and more pictures. And it is so wild how we live in this world where everything is so public.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize it, but everybody's taking pictures of you. Everywhere
When
you
you
go.
choose to be in a public
And it's
space,
kind of scary, actually.
people feel entitled to take
And-
pictures of you and in pictures of
and it makes you realize that whenever you leave your house, you're like, you're not safe, you know? And it kind of like, and then after everything happened, I sort of went into this, like this weird state where like nothing was safe and nothing and nobody, like I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't trust the public. I couldn't trust you. I couldn't trust my friends. I just stayed inside, like, because there were cameras everywhere. You know, it was like, it was so unsafe. Everything was unsafe.
Yeah, that's hard. That's another piece that we can't even begin to recognize is, and I'm going to go to the full cam for this. That's a part of this entire puzzle that not everybody can recognize. She lost her world. She was with that man for like 10 years, had 2 beautiful babies with him. Like, when you feel a sense of betrayal from the one person that's supposed to be by your side until the very end, and then the public also knows about it and is trying to understand it from this parasocial relationship aspect, your coworkers and everybody all your social circle, and then there's your family, like, you have to constantly be sharing what happened. You constantly have to keep the ball rolling with what's happening. Of course, you're not going to trust anybody. Your entire sense of reality and semblance of who you are was shattered. Shattered. Don't apologize for that. Don't apologize.
Yeah, it took a long time to like get back to myself.
How did having it become such a public scandal kind of change everything for you? Did it make it worse? Did it make it easier? Did it just sort of make it surreal?
It was so many different things. And it was all tied in together too. You know, I think that and it all, it's like the trauma of discovering that you've been, that like everything that you know isn't real. And then add to it this other part where you're sort of being watched by cameras, which isn't something that's like a part of our lives. Like, yes, we are somewhat public figures, but like we've never had cameras waiting outside of our house. Like that's not something that we're used to. Like we're not like celebrities. That's not that's not a part of our lives. And this was a period in our lives where we had like there was like a car following us, and it was really strange because we had just found out that we were dealing with this with this cheating situation, with this betrayal. We decided to find a new couples therapist, right? And so we were driving to our new couples therapist, and so we were in the car together because we decided to drive together, and you decided you needed a snack, and so you had a Tupperware with you, and I had my jug of water, and we got in the car together because we were like, well, why don't we drive together? We're going to the same place. And so we get in the car, and we were driving there, and so you're like eating your apple as you're driving, and I turned to you and I was like, Ned, I think there's a car following us. Like I'm pretty sure this car has followed us from our house. And you're like, oh, that's weird. Like, I wonder what that could be, And then when we park outside of the couples therapist's office, and we see that this car has a camera, I was like, I think that person just took a picture of us. And so we went inside and we talked about it a little bit, and then we had our therapy session, and then we came out, and then there were multiple people outside, and it was probably one of the strangest situations that I personally have ever been in. I did not know what to do with my face. And so that's
probably
my reaction when I don't know what to do with my face is I smile.
Yeah.
That is my go-to reaction when I don't know what to do with my face. I just smile like an idiot.
That was my reaction too.
I smile like like a cat. I just smile. And so
I do remember at the time, first of all, I didn't know that they were going to couples therapy then. I think that really is a testament to her trying to make things better for her children. I really do think so. And also, like, I think a lot of people know that divorce is an option, but I know she was one of those people that knows that marriage is hard work, because I remember listening to one of her podcasts actually with Becky talking about how marriage is hard work and how marriage is something that you constantly need to be working on. And she was someone who was a huge proponent of couples therapy, bettering your relationship. And so it does not surprise me as much as it does shock me that she stayed with him. It doesn't surprise me based on her previous podcast comments as well. Like, we do need to consider she was in love with this man and she wanted to give it a try, even though he was adulterous.
So like, this is the video that
this is also terrifying. Like, having paparazzi. Like, I do remember, who was it? Tana Mojo and Demi Lovato, when I was watching some of their videos talking about the paparazzi, not the times that they paid the paparazzi to come to them, but it's very all encompassing. They think that they can get the shot because it's their job. And excuse me, when a big story lands, right? Like, one paparazzi finds them, he texts his friends, he texts his boss because he wants to get the final shot, and then everyone shows up, right? So I can't even imagine going through something this traumatizing, something this toxic. You're with the man that cheated on you and you get caught by paparazzi.
That everyone saw. And
like leaving couples therapy.
We're leaving couples therapy, looking at each other like we don't have a care in the world. And it's because we are absolutely just beyond like this is so bizarre. What is happening right now? This has never happened in our lives ever. We don't know what's going on. Like, let's just get to our car. You know, and we're just smile. Like they're not gonna hurt us. Who are these people? Everything's fine. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That was the strangest situation. It was so bizarre.
I remember our neighbors during that time were doing some roof repair work. And so there was this unmarked white van outside of our house, and it was parked there for like weeks. And we had it in our heads. It was a paparazzi van. And
it absolutely was not. But it was like the strangest thing. I thought.
Maybe that's my next react video, is reacting to paparazzi culture in the United States.
You know, for weeks, anytime you walk out the door, being like, "Oh, there's a van."
Yeah, that was really strange.
I can see how that caused you to really feel unsafe and mistrusting of the whole world. Just want to acknowledge that and note that it's like because of things I did that caused you to experience that.
Yeah.
What was that moment like when everything changed for you?
Because of things I did.
Awful, obviously. It was kind of surreal. You know, I thought to myself, like, what would somebody who's been cheated on, like, what would somebody in a movie do?
Really?
I wasn't thinking like of a specific movie or something like that. I was thinking like, what do people do in this situation? You know, like, I wasn't thinking I wasn't thinking for myself. I was thinking like, what do I do next?
That's the hard part. Like, what are you going to do?
I remember we were in New York, and you were just picking me up from the airport. And I was so like naively, so you were driving a rental, and I just naively looked over to you in the driver's seat, and I was like, why was Grace in New York? Like, I didn't realize Grace was in New York. Why was she, referring to that picture that I had sent to you? And you looked over at me with this look on your face, and it was like the veil just fell, like this. Like I knew in my brain that something was going on, but I just sort of refused to believe it. And then when I saw that, like, just wildly guilty look on your face, like you wanted to tell me something, and I didn't even let you say anything. I was like, turn this car around. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember it happening like that, but it doesn't matter.
How do you remember it happening?
Oh, I mean, you asked me a couple of different follow-up questions as I just sort of answered them. And then, once I answered it in such a way that you knew
that's the moment
exactly
that her entire
who it was and what had
world
happened.
crashed.
Yeah, then you were like, take me back to the airport.
I can't believe they're
That
talking
part
about
was
this
very
online.
cinematic. If you were trying to be like in a movie.
Cinematic?
Turn this fucking car around.
I mean, yeah, I think there was a lot of
mortified.
sort of delusions and rationalizations that you, as the person doing that, sort of are telling yourself as to why it's not so bad, or why it's going to be okay, or why actually this talked about in this way. And then it's like, I remember that moment, it all just kind of like fell down, where I totally could see how devastated and just completely traumatized you were. And then it was just like, oh, everything changed for me as well. I'm like, oh no, this is like, I've been hurting this person that I love this whole time.
Not you've been hurting, you've been caught.
You didn't realize until then.
Well, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of compartmentalize, or I guess.
Compartmentalize?
Interesting.
It's sort of it's like a addictive cycle, kind of.
Him trying to
feeling
justify his
really guilty and
infidelity
ashamed, and then
to the person he cheated
telling
on
yourself
space.
the ways in which it's,
Wild.
kind of just lying to yourself, and then
What do you mean you didn't know you were hurting your wife? Hold on.
and I did want to tell you, and there was probably a small part of me that was
Didn't.
sort
You
of
only told her because you got caught.
relieved to not be
You
keeping a
felt
secret, I guess.
relieved to not be holding this secret in anymore.
Is that
What?
hard for you to hear?
No, that part's not hard for me to hear.
Okay, I'm proud of her for saying that. Okay, hold on. What do you mean? Okay, so this is the part of the podcast I was worried about. Him attempting to justify his infidelity by talking about how he didn't know he was hurting her. That is a very bold statement to presume that up until the moment where he was faced with his wife asking about that situation, he didn't even have the balls to be able to tell her, yeah, I cheated on you. Yeah, that's not my sister. That's wild to me. Another piece of this entire thing too is she figured it out because she was reading between the lines. And obviously she asked a couple of follow-up questions, as they said, but like the fact that they're releasing this online and you can see that he's on the verge of tears, he's really upset at being caught. I do not believe that he is upset that he hurt this woman. I'm also so proud of her for standing her ground. She is standing her ground so well here. Look at this. She doesn't look like she's going to fall apart. I think 3 years have been very healing for her. Let's continue. Wow.
I think it's, I've done a lot. I've spoken a lot with other betrayed partners over the last 3 years, and it's something that I've heard a lot. This idea of like when there's this sense of relief when the partner who's doing the betraying is able to finally tell the betrayed partner that about all the things that they have been doing, and kind of put their shame onto the other partner. They, in that like sort of release of their like of all of that like
shame and
shame
guilt
and guilt that they've been holding.
This is 1.75
It's almost
speed.
like they feel so much relief.
I can't
But the
even
partner
imagine
then has to
how
accept
awkward
it.
this is.
And that's exactly what happened. When you told me, suddenly then I had to take all of that guilt and shame of your affair. And
That's a good point.
it was so much to carry. So much. Like,
It wasn't her choice.
And I know that,
it
like,
was her burden to bear.
and-
That's awful.
suddenly something that like you had, like the wild thing is that this was something that you
She's
had
shaking.
done. Like I had no part in this. This was not
Yeah.
like, you could even say that you had done this to me, like I was the victim of this situation. And yet
Yeah.
when you told me, I had to like accept your guilt and your shame. And in our like
God.
society where couples are, especially married couples, like when men have affairs, women are often looked at as like, well, what did you do wrong? And it's so hard to get out from under that. Of like, well, what did you do to make him look elsewhere? Were you not a good enough wife? Were you not, did you not make him happy enough?
There's no way some people online actually said that to her.
And there's so much shame there. And I'm so tired of holding that. I'm so tired of holding it.
You shouldn't have to hold that. You shouldn't have had to go through this experience in the first place. Like, I think a lot of people, including myself, forget to realize just how in her head she must have been about this entire situation. She had to bear the burden of his mistake. She had to negate her achievements and everything she had done previously because of the actions that he chose to do. And then on top of it, there's this entire different paradigm that's happening and that we're seeing right now, that this entire paradigm that we are seeing, that she is being questioned whether or not she was a good enough wife because he had to get some from someone else, when it's his problem, it's his perversion, it's his want to compartmentalize his life and say, hey, this person's cute. Let me just forget my wife. Let me put her in this box, put the box away at the back of my mind, and I'll grab it when I want it. Because that's what I'm hearing here. And that's disgusting. It's awful. And she should not have to, number one, be put in that box. But number two, have other people, including herself, question her own actions' validity as a woman in that marriage. It's disgusting. It's awful. And I feel so bad hearing that she's going through that.
How does it make you feel to hear that?
And he's, okay,
I mean, did it ever occur to you that like, not only did you having an affair, just it shattered our marriage, but it also, like, all of that guilt and shame, you like hoisted that on me.
That's a great
like
question.
You gave that to me.
I want to hear his
now I have
answer
to carry that around
here.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, for the rest of her life.
I don't think it's
When you
fair
search
that as a
up her
society
name,
you're put in that position. It's certainly not true. And no, it's not something that I imagined as I was
of course you
doing that. I
didn't.
think none of it was. If you really like let it sink in just how
course you
much you're
didn't.
hurting your partner and how devastating it is, like
Because you're
how could
thinking
you do
about
that?
yourself and your needs in that situation. You put her in
it's
a
still
box.
very difficult now, even 3 years later, to see you in pain as you're talking about that. And I guess there's nothing I can do to change the past or to help.
It's kind of weird to think about it now, because I feel like I'm in a really good place now, and
Oh, that's so good.
going back to like before I discovered the affair, it feels like going back to this weird fantasy world where
Fantasy.
like, I don't know, I thought we had this
Idealized.
love
Aw.
that like transcended, I don't know, but it was a fantasy.
She was a
It was-
true romantic. Hopeless romantic.
It was like, you know, I trusted you so completely. And I mean, we grew up together. We got married when we were like in our early 20s.
Yeah.
We were babies. We had nothing. I mean, we moved out to LA with just our car full of stuff. I mean,
That's heartbreaking.
I'm like tearing up just thinking about it. We were just kids. And it's like,
And it's half her life. Like, it's more than half her life she spent with this man because they
It
grew
really
up
was a fantasy.
together.
and I just think, how could you do that to me? Like, who are you?
Damn. You tell him. Exactly. Tell him.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry,
Had
it's
so
not
much. There was so much.
Take a break, girl. Take
We
a
had so much
break.
life left. We still have so much life left. I don't know why I'm crying.
I think it's
You don't know why you're crying? You are talking to the man who betrayed your trust, betrayed your marriage, who you grew up with. You grew up with this man. You trusted him. You felt as though you had it made. You felt like you had the love that you saw in the movies. You said it was a fantasy. You're a hopeless romantic, and he shattered it. You said it so yourself. He shattered your marriage. Of course you can cry about it. Just because you're 3 years removed from the situation and you feel like you're in a healthy, happy place, this being on this podcast is forcing you to bring up those memories, and I am so heartbroken for you. You did not deserve that. And the fact that he's just sitting there and saying, I'm sorry, is actually enraging me so much because he looks mortified that he didn't think about the actions, the consequences of his own actions. Like, did he not think that this was
the
going
loss
to
of
hurt
that
her
dream
that
that we both
much?
had.
This wasn't a dream you both had when you choose to cheat. I'm sorry. When you choose to cheat on someone, that's not a dream you had. Your marriage wasn't a part of that dream because you chose to get it elsewhere. And who's to say this wasn't the first time? This is the first time that we know of.
It felt like that in that time period for me too.
Also, I want to be clear, that's in my own opinion. In my opinion, that might not have been the first time because you never know. You never know. He was confident. He might not have. Absolutely. But that's not for us, me and you, to know. That is parasocial for me to even guess that. Okay, they're bringing us into something so intimate, something so challenging and difficult, in an attempt to come back on the internet and to move on, and obviously to have people not question Ariel anymore. And so I just hope this was healing for her. I hope this, okay, I'm feeling better. Yeah, see, like this already feels, I already feel better. I look like myself. Okay, let's continue to watch Ned Fulmer implode, because that's what's happening here. We're watching him implode live in 4K. And Ariel is doing a great job at holding her own here. She did cry a little bit. I honestly think it's extremely parasocial of them to talk so intimately and share the intimate details on how she found out and what was going on. But this is the bed that they chose to lay in, and she wants this. He said at the very beginning of the video, like, this is what she wants. So
being able to talk about it or to confront those feelings, I wanted to, I guess I was too afraid to say how I was actually feeling. And
okay, too afraid to say how you were feeling, so you chose to cheat on your wife. Just remember that.
I chose to deal with it and deal with like feelings I was experiencing in a way that was really self-destructive and hurtful to you.
Yeah, very self-destructive.
And it wasn't like anything you did or like we had a bad marriage. It was about me and choices that I made and just actions that I took that I'll always regret. I'll always regret how much pain I caused you and
I hate
other
to
people.
say this, but I'm really happy he said that. I hate to be on his side on something because he's disgusting. Sorry, my true thoughts are showing. But I'm very proud of him in that moment for taking that shame and guilt that she felt off of her back. Earlier, she talked about how she was feeling the guilt and shame for what he had done. She felt as though she was inadequate. What parts of herself did she not give to the marriage in order for him to want to stay? Because that's like society's, what society has been saying, right? And that's awful. It's awful. But I unfortunately do have to give him, I hate to do this, I actually have to give him a little bit of credit here, because I can only imagine how not uplifting, but how freeing it is to be able to hear from the horse's mouth that it was not your fault. I think that's going to be big for her.
And I'm deeply, deeply sorry. And I'll spend my whole rest of my life trying to make amends to you and to, show up differently, to lead a life of integrity and to be a father that our children can learn from.
Learn from your
nothing
mistakes.
To deserve this, and I completely, suddenly, violently shattered our marriage, our relationship, and like everything you knew, and that was all my fault. It
was all your fault.
All choices that I made.
At least he knows where the blame is. At the beginning of the video, it didn't even feel like he knew where it was, though. I feel like he only knows it because of couples therapy.
I mean, that's kind of how we've been, what we've been working on, I guess, over the last 3 years. We can make new promises to each other as friends, as co-parents.
As friends and as co-parents. Okay, that is something else that I think we need to address here. And I'm not just addressing this because I am a teacher. I think we need to address this because this is where the parasocial is very challenging. These children are going to grow up with parents that love them, which is exciting. These children are going to grow up with parents that are attempting to co-parent and be friendly with each other. He said friends. That's up to Ariel, in my opinion. These children will look up their father's name and see the betrayal. They are going to look up their father's name and see pictures and videos of him cheating on their mom. And that's not okay. That's not okay. Like, that is the one piece of this entire puzzle that I am really struggling with, is it's the children. It's, by posting this podcast, they're going to see this when they grow up. Even if they private it when the children turn 16 or 13, whenever they have access to online mechanisms, they are going to find this podcast. I hope they're proud of their mother for standing up to him, having the courage to say the hard things. I don't want to say that they're proud of their father, but I sure hope that when they watch this, they can see that their father is owning up to his mistakes and they learn to not be like their father in that case, to stay true, to be honest with each other. And honestly, from what he's saying here, his entire marriage, he wasn't happy at the end of it. They grew up together. They were high school sweethearts. They moved to LA together. They went through college together. Like, they went to the Try Guys together. He grew out of love with this woman, and instead of going about it the right way and working on it, he chose to be adulterous. And he has to live with that burden for the rest of his life. And even though he is trying not to have a redeeming arc, but to have the rest of the world not be on his side, but see who he is beyond that, I think it's very telling that the friends that he had at the time didn't stay by his side. And I think that that's very telling. And as much as I'm very much a proponent of a person who will say, even to Ariel, I always say there is an act of forgiveness in order to move on. She's proving to me right now that you don't need to forgive to move on. And I think that that's pretty cool there as well. All right, let's keep watching. Because this is
the thing that kind of started changing things for you.
Maybe just time and I don't know, courage. And I mentioned making those authentic relationships, like finding those real friends.
Oh.
And they're like, I don't care that your life is messy. I really like you for who you are. I see your joy. I like every part of you.
Yeah.
And I want to be a part of your life.
Okay, that's good.
Like, don't push me away. You know?
It was a real moment
I wonder how
of
many
discovering who
people she
your
had to
real,
push
true,
away
authentic friends
because
are,
of
and
this
Yeah.
entire
then
situation.
cherishing that, and those people that you can
Yeah,
kind
this
of
is a very
be completely yourself with.
situation for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
and not just seeing a one-dimensional version of you.
Yeah, totally.
When did things start to feel a little more safe for you?
I will say, he's talking to her and he's giving her an outlet to be able to speak, which is good, but I can definitely see that he's going to be using some of these words in the future for future people he's going to have to interview on this podcast that he has now with almost 64,000 subscribers, by the way. 64,000 subscribers in one day. Bananas, by the way, for a man who did this. But I think he's also trying to prove to the public right now that he's not one-dimensional and one-sided, and that he's more than this one decision he made 3 years ago. And it's hard because if she's not willing to move on, then why are we? So, like, let me hear what she has to say on that.
I think as I just got more comfortable talking to people about like what happened, and they just seemed to not care.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't a big deal.
It is kind of funny. It's like the whole, internet and people making TikToks seem to care so much. And then you meet anyone in real life and it's like everyone has some way to relate to some sort of a cheating story.
Just like all the parents that...
Not him throwing subtle shade at the TikTokers and React YouTubers. Not that subtle shade towards that. But I think also, like, it is big news, yes. And I guess with time too, like, she's trying to create authentic friendships and experiences outside of Ned, because her entire world, life, and family was surrounded by Ned. And because he's done this one thing that shattered their marriage, she was always with him, and she's trying to find an identity for herself and make friends that are separate from him and authentic from him. And so I do appreciate what they're bringing up here, that in real life, because people don't care, she is able to have a friends and have a family and move on from this. And I do think that's authentic. Northwest says, I think he's just trying to clear his name so he can get back into YouTube. Doesn't seem like he cares so much about it. I think I definitely need to address that again at the end of this too, because so far all I'm hearing from this is that he's doing this because she wants to for this episode. But looking at the description, the introduction, the way he's setting up this entire podcast, his entire skill set and job was YouTube. His entire everything that he wanted to do was video making, podcast making, all of this stuff, right? He needs to get some type of public interest and public favor in order to continue that. I'm very curious to read the comments after this as well. But so far, he's not winning my view. Ariel is.
At Wes's school, or, they're like, either they don't know or they don't give a flying fuck. They're like, yeah, who cares? They're like, it's one of many scandals. Like, Also, it was 3 years ago. Like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like that's kind of how I feel. They're like, they're sort of like,
Right, because when you're in the school
cares?
environment, like there's a bunch of different types of families and parents, and some people are
Nobody
together, some
cares.
people aren't, and I'm sure
That's
every
true.
marriage or relationship has a
That's
story.
true. In real life, there are so many different types of families out there, mine included. So I totally
Where you have to
understand that.
How it breaks down.
like, it just gives you so much perspective.
Yeah.
It gives you so much perspective to just be in a group of people where nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know, and it gives you, honestly, I think that is what gives me the courage to just be like, you know what? It's okay.
Right.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay.
She is going to be okay.
Like I can live in a world where this has happened and people know and also we've moved on. You know?
Right.
Like I can go on dates and not have people be whispering about me.
Aw.
I don't know. I'm
Go on dates,
imagine-
though. Wait.
a world where I can just be myself and not have this thing following me
Suddenly
around.
talking about how she's hot on the market.
You know, I don't have to.
Those celebrities who were sliding into her DMs back in 2022 are perking up right now. I think she does bring up a good point, though, is like she wants everyone to get over it. But we will only get over it if she wants us to. But I don't think we should forget about it for Ned. For Ariel, yes. For Ned, I don't know. That speaks volumes to his character to be able to compartmentalize your wife into a box and forget about her for one night so you can fit your needs and what you want, right? I think that speaks volume to his character.
I don't have to, like, where maybe we are at a restaurant with our kids and I don't have to feel shame because I'm like, you know, having fun.
Right.
You know, where people are like, oh my God, are they back together?
Right.
Just because I'm like having a joyful time with my kids and my ex-husband, you know, like, is that a crime?
Yeah.
There it is, ex-husband. I have been waiting this entire podcast to hear if they're officially divorced, and we do now have that confirmation that they are officially divorced. Because I believe at the beginning of the video, he said wife. Here she's saying ex-husband. Wow. We finally have confirmation. I also think, too, like, we need to break the stigma, too, of constantly asking if people are getting back together just because they're seen in public together. Because I don't know how many times where I have wished for certain families that I've worked with over the course of the last 10 years working in the education field where they want to go to dinner, but they don't want to do so in a local area for fear of people thinking that they're getting back together. It's so healthy to have a co-parenting situation where the parents do it for the kids. And she said too, she's having fun. Like this is something that she wants to do because of her children. And we need to be able to respect that and stay in our lane about that.
Yeah.
To feel joy?
Can I live?
You know,
Let them.
let them.
Let them. Yeah. 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 I mean, we're going to Greece together next week. It's like life is weird sometimes.
Like, wait, yes, like we travel together. It's we have a familial relationship.
Yeah. 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 It's we've like redefined our relationship not as partners, romantic partners, but sort of like, you know, family or platonic partners and pals, if you want to say pals. I feel the same way that it was kind of the social communities in school or wherever you are that you kind of just start to feel less alone.
Yeah.
Where, you know, somebody that's your friend or like another couple that you're friends with just will say like, you know, hey, like it was shitty what you did. And also everyone goes through hard times and you move forward the best you can. And whether you are together or not, or sort of together friendly, but not romantically, like however you want to live your life as your family moving forward, that's like your business.
Right.
That is your business.
Yeah.
It's not our business.
And at the same time, people looking on the outside can kind of feel that nonchalance. And on the inside, it's like, what I did to you is one of the most devastating things I think that a person can experience. Like I understand why, broadly speaking, these like scandals are such, you know, ignition points, because it's a lot of people can relate to it and a lot of people feel.
I will say, looking at the last 3 years, not seeing any images or video of Ned Fulmer or Ariel, although her name is still Ariel Fulmer. I have to remember that. Like, she's probably going to change it back eventually, but she looks stunning, beautiful. She does look tired. He looks exhausted, terrified. He does not look happy to be here by any stretch of the imagination. Facing this, he clearly wants the world to move on. She does too, but she's brought up valid points. All he says is he wants to have his creative energy where not everyone on every video is talking about his infidelity.
so much pain around it.
And it can be both.
It can be both, yeah.
And it can be both at the same time. It can be both at different times. And you know, it can be one thing one day and something different another day. You know, I have some days when
It's true. There's
I hate your guts.
flows.
And you know, there are other days when I enjoy your company more than not. And that's okay. It can be both.
It can be both.
You know, some days are really sad because I feel the loss. But other days, I feel a lot of
The loss.
gratitude and joy for where we're at now. Especially, I mean, our kids are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
And
I love that.
I mean, they're worth every cent we've spent on therapy. Like,
Yeah, because I mean, that's like a big reason why we're working so hard to rebuild.
I don't even know if I would call it rebuilding. I think we're building something new.
Yeah, for sure. I think you have to feel it like that. The past is no longer.
Attainable.
Burn that shit to the ground. I'm kidding.
Anyway.
I like how she's establishing here that they're not trying to rebuild their marriage. They're trying to rebuild something completely new.
It's very strange living
I think that's
and having a
very
marriage while also having that be so like public facing.
Mm.
Did you ever feel that there was these like layers of like the public facing you versus the real you?
Yes, and that was always a struggle for me because I felt like I wanted the two to be the same. You know, I always wanted to be one whole person, and I didn't want to be like an actor on camera and then another person in my real life. You know, and that's the funny thing about like
That's the
being a
parasocial
YouTuber or
hard
being an
part.
influencer is people expect you to be one person in your real life and on the internet. And then when you're not, then it's like, well,
Yeah.
you're lying, you know? But I don't know, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, it's ironic because at the same time, I think what the internet wants from you is to be a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, you know, I think you know, there's if you make TikToks as like a certain persona or doing a certain joke, if you deviate from that joke, oftentimes your like engagement will plummet. Like people kind of want to like just see it's like, oh, it's like you're a stereotype. You're kind of like that person, and I guess I noticed that in my own work. It's like the things that consistently drew people in were adorable family posts or talking about my wife, and then producers lean into that and like craft situations for me. And I don't know, over time it felt super pigeonholed and just like I had to fulfill this one like quadrant in a foursome to
We
just be
talked
this
about
like
that.
you know kind of caricature.
You're like put in a box.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to like
interesting that he feels
be
put
a
in box
full
when
person
he
with
was
nuance
Ariel
on the
in
internet. There's
box.
always sort of a performance layer.
So what are you gonna do now that you're back on the internet?
Okay, before I listened to the audacity of this man talking about coming back on the internet, it's really important to talk about the whole influencer thing because she didn't want this for herself. She wanted to be online, but she didn't want to be a character. As people who are on social media, you often feel as though you need to fulfill a brand. You need to have a niche. You need to have a brand. Ned is talking about it as though he felt like he was put into a box of a brand that was his wife, but he put himself there. Like each of the Try Guys had their own thing that they did, and he saw that his wife was the one that was bringing in the views. And it's unfortunate that he felt like that was all he was, because at the same time, that's how Ariel feels about the whole scandal, is like she will only ever be cheated on. She will never be herself. That's how people will remember her. Ned intentionally chose to have that as his brand. He couldn't think with his other co-producers of anything else to be other than the family guy, other than the wife guy. He chose that life for him. They could have easily have found something else. Would it have been marketable? That's up to y'all. I personally think no, he couldn't have at the time. I think there was options, but that was the best option. But I'm curious to see what he says is going to be his thing. I'm curious.
It's a great question. I, for a long time, didn't want to return to the internet because I didn't see a way of. I didn't want to be myself. I didn't want to make anything. I didn't feel creative. And as time has moved on,
You made this
I
choice.
have a desire to create and to tell stories, but I don't really want it to be about myself as a character, or myself, or my relationship, or my personal life. You know, I've always been drawn to things that make people curious. And
I will say we are starting to move away as an era on the internet of sharing so many things personally. This was an era of time where you shared everything and people were able to find your home address, like everything about you, and you could not escape it or get away from it. So I will say that I don't believe that that's his fault. I do believe it is a product of his time. I do agree with that. What I don't agree with is that he wanted to be away from the internet. I really do think he wanted to stay. I think he wanted to be away because he wasn't
finding ways of connecting people with their interests. And so I came up with I don't know, I see myself more as like a host and more as just a vehicle for other people's stories. And I don't know, maybe I can, because of what I've gone through and my past, like connect with people and empathize with people. What?
No, I'm just, you think you're interesting enough?
No.
You think you're interesting enough? Oh, shots fired. Shots fired. I literally just said that. I don't think he's interesting enough without her.
I don't.
You think other people?
I think other people would be interesting. And then that's regardless of whether I think I'm interested. I don't want to talk about my personal life or my family. Like, I want to keep our children out of the spotlight. I keep our dating lives private. Fair. Like, it's not a good idea for my mental health, at least, but I think also in general, to sort of make your whole life your brand. I want to make stuff that helps people learn things, make stuff that helps people like empathize with others. And, you know, the idea behind the podcast is to tell stories of other people's challenging times and how they overcame them.
Seeking therapy, right?
Because if there's one thing I noticed is that people really seem to care about the train wreck that I caused.
Would you say that was your rock bottom? Have you hit your rock bottom? What do you think?
I hope so, yeah. Yeah, I would say my rock bottom was...
I hope so. Oh. So he's trying to make this his new livelihood. I mean, it's working out for him in the sense that he's hit 400,000 views because everyone wants to hear what Ariel has to say, right? And like I said, if I refresh, I'm almost positive this is going to be at 70,000 views. Now, because I'm in Canada, I can't see the current dislikes on it. I can only see that there's 4.1 thousand up likes on this. I don't see him returning realistically. Who would want to go on his podcast? But that's the one thing. Look at his description here, right? Featuring raw and filtered conversations with comedians, authors, and celebrities. It sounds like he's got people lined up for this. And I was actually thinking about this because I was watching a video from Adam McIntyre talking about Alexa Nicholas and how she went on the H3 podcast. And H3, Ethan, I could do an entire series watching Ethan's content and his downward spiral here on the internet. But I think Ned Fulmer is going to be interviewing people that are desperate for some type of spotlight in addition to be able to share their story after they hit their own rock bottom. I think there's a whole era of influencers and creators, as well as authors and celebrities as well, who got canceled in the uncancelable era. We're in an era now where people are a lot more forgiving, but like think 2014 to 2022, there were a host of people that got canceled that never came back and never got to share their story. Like, I think a lot about Jenna Marbles, how she never came back, vowed to never come back, and now people are over it, but she still will never come back. But I see people like her might eventually want to share their story and will look for an avenue to do that. Now, do I think she's going to be on Ned Fulmer's podcast? Absolutely not. She doesn't deal with cheaters like that. But I think that there will be people willing to have some type of clout and willing to be able to share their story and do so by any means, even if it means being on Ned Fulmer's podcast. I mean, he said it himself. He's not that interesting. He's looking to feed off of the backs of his guests in order to create his podcast here. He's looking to feed off the entertainment value of the shocking news details that these people are going to have. Like, I could see Ned Fulmer interviewing Shane Dawson. I can see that happening. Jeffree Star, probably not. Shane Dawson, 100%. I could see this man do. James Charles would want to eat this man alive. I could definitely see him in this podcast.
It's funny. In the car, there was still a part of me that thought, maybe, because we've been doing therapy, like we kind of had talked about a variety of things, and My rock bottom was, being in a. I think the moment for me is you like sent me a text that night that was like, I don't think we can get past this, and it's just sort of like my whole world crashed. And I was like, oh, right. So what I did wasn't like in our boundaries or in any sort of like what I did was.
She texted him, and that's when his world fell apart. He did not think that his actions were going to end his marriage until she texted him. Are we for real? That's when his world shattered? Are we Am I on the same side of the internet as this man? Because what the heck? I just don't see people want to associate with him. I feel like if you're wanting to say your piece, there are better ways to go about it. I do think so too. I think there might be also with TikTokers as well. Like think about some of the big TikTokers that just want a means to be able to share their story. Like I think about Kendra, the person who's in love with her therapist, her psychiatrist, sorry. She would probably eat this shit up, right? People with morals won't go on the show, I don't think. I'd be very surprised, although currently his description says comedians, creators, authors, and celebrities. That is 4 different... That could potentially be up to 4 different guests. It could be one person who's also a celebrity, also an author, but potentially has multiple guests. Also, I'm curious because this was posted yesterday. I wonder what the posting schedule is going to be like on this. Oh my God, because sometimes the only way out is through one podcast at a time. Crazy work. Like, here's the thing, Northwest Lizard. I want to agree with you. That's what my heart is saying. I just know that there's people that don't care, even though I care. Even though I know that there's people that will never forgive this man, people who will never want to be on a podcast with him. I do see certain people, I don't know, like, would use any opportunity that they could possibly get.
Unforgivable, and there's no hope. And I don't think I slept that night. I remember writing you a long letter, and it was ironic. That weekend I was at a wedding, and they like played our wedding song as their dance. It was like black tie. Everyone's very fancy. I was just like stepping away to cry every 20 minutes. Well, we only have a couple more minutes. I know we could keep on talking. Maybe we will, but
are there any last minute questions we need to address?
That's just him facing the actions, his consequences of his actions. Going to a wedding and hearing them dance to a song that was your song at your wedding. Like, I'm sure that's heartbreaking. Having to relive that experience and realize that you're the cause of... Okay, that is the one thing I want to be very clear about. We don't want him to die. Everything that I've said in this video is entirely my opinion and my opinion alone. I don't wish ill on this man either, especially because he's trying to be the father of his children. I just don't agree with the way he's going about this. Northwest says, I also feel like if they are wanting to put this behind them, this will not help. If it's people sharing their story, his will be brought up every episode because he said he wants to feel empathy, right? So he's going to have to share bits and pieces of his story in order to empathize and relate to the people that are sharing their stories and after they hit rock bottom. Right? He's going to want to empathize with that. Number 1, because it's good entertainment. Number 2, it's going to allow the person who's a guest on his podcast to feel as though they can share more and more and more that they might not have been willing to share on the internet before. And then finally, it's almost like a boost to his ego. He's getting it off his chest publicly because he wants to move on. He doesn't want anyone to bring it up anymore. But I feel like you're right. Like, it's bringing it up constantly.
Before.
Are we together?
We are not together. We live separately. We are devoted co-parents to our 2 beautiful, beautiful children. Wes, who is 7, and Finn, who is almost 5.
Are we?
Wes is already 7? Wait, hold on. I need to hear that again.
Wes, who is 7, and Finn, who is almost 5.
Are we dating?
Finn is almost 5. He was 2. She had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old when this is happening. Oh my God.
The people?
I mean, I'm open to dating other people. I mean, yes, we are dating other people. Yeah.
Will you ever be returning to some of your past work?
What kind
That's
of
what I want to know.
Like your old podcast?
No, I don't think so. No, I'm grateful for my time there, but no, I think that era is over.
So what's next for you? I know that, you're a creative person,
I
that
loved
you've
her
been doing a bunch throughout your
podcast.
career, and it's kind of like, it must be exciting to kind of be like a solo artist now.
Yeah, I mean, these last 3 years have given me a lot of time to like kind of express what I love, and I've gone back to pottery, which is something that I was really into in college. It started out as just something that I wanted to do, just to like, I don't know, kind of center myself as like a hobby. But I've gotten really into it, and I've been spending a lot of time in my own studio, and I'm starting up my own business. I know.
I love that for her.
Yeah,
I love that
and
for her. How
we'll see
many
where it takes
people
me.
are going to buy
Yeah.
her
Do
pottery?
you think you're going to be like a public, like, do you want to continue being an influencer?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
That was never
For a couple of
her
reasons.
lifestyle.
I mean, the first reason is that I really enjoy just making stuff in my studio by myself. I know that sounds so silly, but I love just going into my pottery studio and just sitting at my wheel and getting so dirty and not filming it and just doing what I want to do and making mistakes and just sometimes making really shitty stuff and not having to tell anyone about it, and the second reason
Sense of independence
is
and privacy as well.
that I feel like sometimes, and we don't have to put this part in, but it is a valid reason. I feel like sometimes people who are on the internet, there is another standard of beauty for people who are on the internet, and I don't want to hold myself to that standard anymore. I'm going to be 40 this year, and I want to look at myself in the mirror, and I want to say, fuck yeah. I don't want to look at myself in the mirror and be like, oh my God, are people going to notice that I don't look like I'm 30 anymore? Are people going to think that I look old? Are people going to think that that this is bad, or this is bad, or this is bad? I love looking in the mirror and being like, you know what? I look great. Like good enough is good enough.
It's a refreshing place to be.
It's so great.
I'm so happy she brought this up because I was literally talking about how she's aged beautifully, but there is a standard too, like that you have to, and the pressure of having to feel like you need to fit in with all of these other people that are in Hollywood. Like, I think a lot of people forget that she is almost 40. Yes, I always forget about that. She had kids in her 30s, right? But she's almost 40. She's entering the dating scene again, number one, but number two. Hollywood is not favorable at all to older people. It's not. Like, Hollywood favors the young, and being in your 40s is seen as like the end of an era a lot of the time, which is not fair to say. It's not fair. I already know that. That's not what I'm meaning. But I think it's important to note that you shouldn't have to constantly be put up with those other influencers. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have to be put on a pedestal. You shouldn't have all of this beauty standards that are not your own, and a lot of other people talking to you about your body as well. Like, you have to remember that there's people constantly thinking that they have a right to speak on your body and speak about your experiences. And it is extremely freeing to not have other people inside seeing everything. I feel like that beauty standard applies to everyday life as well, though. I think Instagram plays a big part in it. Ever since 2015, when Instagram became a thing, the world changed. People changed. Kids are growing up thinking that they need to post everything online. They think that they need to be a certain way, have certain things, because that's what they see online socially. And she's going to feel that way regardless, but she's also trying to do something that she's in control of, not something that she doesn't have control of. Because that's another thing, is she doesn't have control of the Instagram beauty standard or influencer beauty standard, but she does have control of the participation she has in the platforms. Right? And I think this is something that always Ned wanted to do, not something that she wanted to do, but that she was excited for him for, which is why she started her own podcast, which is why she was a part of all these videos, because she was doing it because she was with him. And this is also, like, I'm sure I'm going to speak for her. This is my opinion at this point. But I also wonder if creating content and being in this avenue makes her think about all the negatives of everything that happened and bring up all those negative feelings. It sounds like pottery is incredible for her, and I'm so excited for her for that. But we do have to remember that that also plays a factor, right? Is other people's opinions, but what she can control versus what she can't control. And at least she can control what she contributes to the internet.
It's so great to be like, I look awesome. You know?
Yeah.
I don't want to look in the mirror and be like, I don't look good enough. I don't love that place. And I think that being a public person, that you sort of have to look at yourself that way. Or at least that was my experience. And I choose not to do that.
Yeah.
Love
That's
that.
awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, for
I need
me,
to
I
learn
also
that lesson.
like love
I think all
creating,
of us
and
do.
instead of making pottery, I like making media. So there is this sort of inherent, like, if I'm going to be in it, yeah, you have to kind of think.
Look at him trying to relate. Okay, if this is how he's going to be a podcast host by just constantly saying what they're saying, trying to find his relation, I don't think it's going to be a successful podcast.
About what you're saying, what you look like, and yeah, it can be hard, but I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
What can I do as a co-parent and a friend to continue supporting you and to being? I mean, what do you want from me going forward?
Just be authentic. Just be authentic with your audience. You know,
Like, what are your hopes and dreams for the future?
I just generally want to be the person that I genuinely believe that I am. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like for a long time I've wanted to be one person, but I've lived the life of a person who isn't that person, and I'd like for those two things to be the same.
Same.
Yeah, and
What do you hope for the two of us?
I just want each of us to grow in the way that makes each of us happy. You know, I want you to be who you are, and I want me to be who I am, and I want for you to feel like you can be who you are, and I want you to feel like you can do that without judgment. I want the same for myself.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I think that's also such a hard question to ask someone that you cheated on, and that, you know what I mean? Like, you're asking her, what are your hopes and dreams of the future? But then also, what do you want from me in the future? But also asking as though, like, this is what I want, right? But also clearly, like, she clearly doesn't want to be there anymore. And it's in the sense of, like, she wants to move on, be her life, have her private life now, and allow him to continue to do what he loves without her there. And I think she's so right for doing that. Just because he created an image with her and a platform with her doesn't mean he needs to continue it.
I think that by kind of moving forward more as individuals, we'll each be able to kind of be the best version of ourselves, and to kind of discover maybe parts of ourselves that are less to the forefront when you're like really in a relationship. But that's for us as individuals. But for us, as co-parents, I hope that we raise boys of honesty and integrity that are happy and feel loved. And I hope that we're a team who tells each other what's on our mind, even if it's not always hard to say or easy to hear. That's what I hope for us, is to have a parenting partnership based on.
That is something that I was thinking about, that we have no place to think about, by the way. But his kid was 4 when the news broke out. His second kid was 2. He's not going to have, the 2-year-old's not going to have memories. The 4-year-old might have memories of his parents being together, but it's very slim. These children are going to grow up knowing about the split, but they're going to spend more of their childhood with their parents apart. So it's so important for them to establish healthy boundaries and establish goals that they want to have for their children, so that their children aren't affected as much by this.
Laughter in respect and in honesty.
Me too.
Thank you again to Ariel. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, your directness. This truly meant a lot to me, and thank you for watching. Next week, I'm excited to not be the subject of the episode. I'll be having a conversation with Lara Love Harden. She is a mother who overcame a battle with heroin addiction.
Lara Love? So see, like, what I mean? Like, he already has...
And eventually was a Oprah book club bestseller. So it's full of insightful and human drama, and you're not going to want to miss it. So see you next week. and take care.
Okay. Now, I do want to read some comments. So what I'm going to do. So these are the comments. There are 6,000 comments. Like I said, this is the full description. I'm going to refresh to see if there's any comments.
Hi, I'm Ned Fulmer.
I do not want to watch this again. And that's what I thought. When we started watching this, it was at 63,800 subscribers. It gained 200 subscribers from when I started watching this and 20,000 views. 200 people liked it. Oh, to be a fly on the wall in the Try Guys office. I don't think the Try Guys are going to respond to this. I think there might be like comments online, but I don't think they're going to ever make a respond to it in their podcast. Do you forgive him for cheating? No, fuck no. We love to see it. I'm liking that. Supporting Ariel is truly the only reason why we're here. 19,000 people liked that. More people liked this comment than liked the video. Her saying my children or my kids instead of our kids is very telling. That's a good point that I didn't even catch. She said my children, not our children. That is a very good point. I think that's so important. All right. Proof that his wife was still in most is the interesting. Wow. Ariel was so lovely. 12,000 likes. There are people who, damn, this one has 9,000 too. The fact that she's giving him not a single crumb of relief in awkward moments only shows me even more about what an absolute queen we've known Ariel to be. Ariel, you should do a podcast solely about you and your interests and passions. She doesn't want to be on the internet anymore. That's the only problem. I wish. Ned sounded like a neutral third party. Exactly. There was no emotion. He didn't want to be there. Damn, that really sucks that happened to you, Ned's vibe. Her saying my ex-husband was the best part of this episode. Literally, I commented on that too. I will never watch another piece of Ned's content, but I needed to hear and see Ariel. I've missed her. 2014 to 2022. Ned has no personality, so he uses his wife. 2025. Ned has no past. Oh my gosh. We have to remember, it wasn't one time. It was a 10-month affair. He had a whole girlfriend. Like, you have to remember, this was 10 months of his life. 10 months. 10 months. What are we doing here? Okay, so to sum up and have some final thoughts. Final thoughts for the YouTube and for the Twitch, okay? Final thoughts. Ned Fulmer is attempting to reestablish his way in YouTube, and he did so by doing what he knew best, having a hook, line, and sinker, using his ex-wife to try to propel his podcast. Now, did I believe that this is how he wanted to launch his episode? No. I think Ariel stepped in after having a conversation with Ned about what he was going to do for finances, what he was going to do for money. I do think she stepped in, and I think that she needed this more than he did because it looks like she wanted to move on publicly, and I think the public is on her side there. I think he's a trashy human. I think that having goals and passions that he had to then throw it away and blame it on the fact that it was a one-night decision when it's a 10-month affair. When you have kids, things are messy. I did appreciate that they are both willing to co-parent, that they're going to counseling, they're doing it the right way. I think it's hard as parents when you see that Instagram picture perfect lifestyle and then to no longer be a part of that. I think that's extremely difficult. I'm by no means a stranger to that myself. So I understand, and I'm actually quite proud of them for doing it, showing about it, talking about it, because I think it's going to be really powerful for the women who are also in the same boat as Ariel or on this other side and trying to figure out what to do with their children. I think it's bold, it's huge, and it's incredible. I love that she has her own passions outside of Ned. I love that she's getting back into pottery and starting her own business, and that little plug there. I think that's excellent for her. Ned, we'll see how this goes for you. I think a part of the internet does forgive him. I don't think it's a large portion of the internet, but I think enough people realize that time heals all wounds for them. For me, in my opinion, I don't think he deserves a platform again. I think he needs to find a different avenue and create things without it having to be him as the host. I think he could easily be someone's editor, video producer. I think he could easily not make his own podcast. I think it's going to go terribly for him. I don't think it's going to be successful. I just hope it's not at the hands of his children. But I just want to thank you all for being here. I just want to say a quick shout out to Jess, Meg, Northwest Lizard, and Tati B. So many more people who are here today. I appreciate you so much. What are your thoughts on Ned Fulmer? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for your discourse. I'm going to end the YouTube stream here. And stay strong, stay true to who you are. I'll see you in the next React video.